XXFM.
This is Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth, welcoming a first-timer not only to the program, but I understand that this is his first time on radio, period. He is the president of Lone Star College, Houston North. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Quentin Wright is in the building. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning.
Man, I'm glad that you are here. So it's that time of year. You know, school has officially begun, especially, with the school districts here. Some colleges have started as well. And so I understand that there is a great possibility for people to have educational attainment. So let's talk about some of these issues that's going on here in the state of Texas. I see that we have there's an initiative for a majority of its residents, 60%, ages 25 to 34, to have some type of higher education in 2030. So, the rules are getting a little more strict, yes? It is.
So in the state of Texas, we're pushing this initiative called the 60 by 30. Mm-hmm. And the reason why we're doing this is just that we realize that the economy is going to fall if we do not have an educated workforce. And so the goal is for 60% of all Texans ages 25 to 34 will have some type of post-secondary credential by the time of 2030. And we have a long ways to go right now.
Yeah, we do. Hopefully we're still here by 2030, with the way the world is going now. So what is the reason for this, though?
So by that time, it's expected that about 65% of all jobs will require some type of post-secondary degree, whether a certificate or an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. And so we have quite a gap if we're going to be able to reach that mark.
So when you say all types of jobs, like, could you be a little specific? So like things that people probably went to trade school for, like if I want to become an automotive technician, I'm going to need
You're going to need some type of credentials. So this is the thing. We have a lot of labor out there. Mm-hmm. We really don't have a labor shortage. We have a skills shortage.
Okay.
And so what happens is that what a company will do is say, the only way we're going to bring people on, the way we're going to weed people out, is that we need somebody with a credential. And so what's happening, those people without any kind of degree or any kind of like that, they're falling behind. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that doesn't happen, because when they fall behind, that leads to higher unemployment rates, mm-hmm. low housing, lower college attainment, lower medium income, and other factors that hurts our community.
Yes, it does. As it has, mm-hmm. For all of these decades on decades. I tend to think that all of those things that you just named, that education is the common denominator as to why all of those other things happen, because of the lack of education. I mean, I tell folks, like, you got to remember, at least from the history that I've done, the civil rights movement at its core was about education.
It was.
Yeah?
It was.
And without education, you can't get a good job. You can't further, to help your family, get a house, car, that whole, American dream thing.
It's the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Education by far is the great equalizer. So when a person gets an education, right, gets a degree, college degree, they're more likely to make about $1.2 million over the course of their life more than the person that just has a high school diploma. Mm. And so that's our tax base.
Yeah.
That's businesses that people can own. That's more that people can contribute out to the community.
No doubt. And so what is it that you all are offering up there at Lone Star?
All right. So, at Lone Star College, we are one of the largest community colleges in the country. We cover about 1,200 square miles, but we decided that we're going to do something a little differently mm-hmm. For the Acres Homes, Greens Point, and Fairbanks communities, mm-hmm. and soon the Fallbrook area. We have created Lone Star College Houston North. It starts this fall, and we are catering to. We're trying to take away the excuses for people to be successful. Mm-hmm. So we have a large part-time population. These are areas that's a little bit more economically depressed than mm-hmm. other areas. So to give you a good example, in the Greens Point district, the median household income is about $30,000. If you move up the road to the Woodlands, right, where our central office is located, is $107,000.
Look at that, and that's like, how many miles apart is that? That's not it. It's not even 10.
No, you look at about 11 miles right there. And let me tell you why that's significant. When we talked about the 60 by 30, if you go to the Woodlands, over 60% of that zip code have some type of post-secondary degree, right? If you go down to Greenspoint, you're looking at about 8%. So you can see the gap that we have there. So we know we can do something about that. We just have to look at education a little differently. And that's what we're doing with Houston North. We're trying to take away those excuses and also trying to show people that with the right support, anybody can be successful.
Yes, indeed. You listen to Access Houston. We're talking to the president of Lone Star College, Houston North, Dr. Quentin Wright. With the Lone Star College, we're talking about education and getting you there. Now, Dr. Wright, a lot of really the main reason that I hear, some folks, especially people of color, as to why they can't obtain a higher education is because of cost. And I've noticed that, some colleges, universities now are beginning to kind of offer more financial assistance, if not, some sort of free tuition. Your thoughts on that?
So, good point. The one thing about us is that we're very inexpensive. So it would cost a person about $1,100 to go full time for us.
That's it?
Yeah, but that's about 1/4 of the cost for any university in the state of Texas.
Okay.
So that's cheap. On top of that, we have a lot of assistance. We have financial aid, we have Pell, we have scholarships. Ashley Turner just led an effort to raise nearly $500,000 for scholarships. So we do not want cost to be a factor for people not to be able to come to college.
Yeah, and that's been the main concern for that. So tell us some of the programs and things that are offered up there.
So we're doing things a little differently. One of the things that we're doing is that we are cutting our semesters in half, so to speak. Okay. So instead of the long 16-week, which means from August to December semester, we now have semesters in 8-week formats, which means August to October.
Okay.
Let me tell you why that's valuable. About 74% of our students are part-time. And so the idea of taking 4 classes in one time could be tough.
Yeah.
And so we have students that will take 2 courses from August to October, get early credit accumulation, and then 2 classes from October to December. The value of that is that, in so many cases, students will go to school for 12 weeks and life will happen. Their car breaks down. Then they have to lose all their classes. And guess what? Those students are less likely to come back. In this format, if something happens in November, they'll at least have 2 credits under their belt, so to speak. And that's one of the things that we're pushing for. But on top of that, we know our students have outside of class issues. So we surveyed many of them, and 1/3 said if we had a food pantry, they would use it twice a week. So we have care centers on every location where we would give out care packages from everything from toiletries to food for people who need that type of assistance. We're partnering with a federal qualified health clinic, Avenue 360, to be able to bring medical assistance to people who are 200% below the poverty line. And so we're trying to address all of those outside of class needs. So that way people can come to class and just concentrate on learning.
That's amazing. That's amazing because that's what it is, because there are so many different factors in the whole equation as to one, can. And so you all having a food pantry and all that, like little things like that really go a long way, especially for, folks like us who, are living below the poverty line or just right at it, or, the working class poor. Go ahead.
That's right. So for the past, say, 3 years, I've looked specifically at certain populations, especially our African-American students. We, quite frankly, had a 15% gap. Students that look like me, students that remind me of myself, but their completion rate was 15% below the college average, every other group. We made a lot of progress over the past couple of years. In fact, the success rates for this group have increased at a faster rate than any others. And we did that by paying attention. And so an example of that is that we started a system-wide mentoring program.
Nice.
Just checking in on a week-to-week basis, developing that relationship, building a trust where if there's something that we can help with, they're willing to speak up and ask. And we have found that that's worked wonders. So because of that, with Houston North, every first-time college student that comes to us will now have a mentor, a faculty or staff. And what we have done is that we have released our faculty from teaching as many courses as they normally would, so they would have time to mentor at least 15 students, meaning meet with them on a week-to-week basis, see how they're doing, see how their health's going, if they're exercising, they're studying, doing all those things that are behaviors that will make sure that they stay in school.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I am very curious to know, what was the inspiration behind this?
Well, one of our board members kind of pushed us to start looking, a little deeper into why we had some success gaps between the different populations. And then our chancellor, who has a big heart for the community, said that he wanted to do something about it. So we decided to travel across the country, find best practices. And the more that we look into it, the more we realize that these gaps, they're not because of ability. They're not because of preparation. These gaps were because of life issues. And if we were going to make the difference and increase college attainment, as we were talking about a few moments ago, then we were going to have to approach educating students differently. And that was our push. And the more we work at it, the more that we believe that these students are going to be very, very successful. And I do want to give you one good example of that. We partner with Mayor Turner and Juliet Stepetch, the Director of Education for the city. And through a grant that was given to her by J.P. Morgan Chase, we reached out to students that are stop-outs. These are students that started college but didn't finish. We put them on an 8-hour-a-day schedule to go and become certified nursing assistants.
I like how you call them stop-outs instead of dropouts.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so we worked with them. We gave them a stipend every week to take care of child care and other expenses. And every student that was in that program passed and were successful. They're now taking their certified nursing exams, and they're going to be CNAs in hospitals serving us right now.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a great example of the fact that when we gave them the right support, what they were capable of doing.
Yep. And I guess that's all one needs is the proper tools and the support to get it done, because we have the ability, as you said earlier. It's just these blocks that are in the way. So classes start next Monday on the 26th. Where can people go to register and just get more information on you all?
So you can go multiple places. We have several locations, but in Houston North, if you live in the historical Acres Homes District, you can go to Lone Star College Victory Center. That's on Victory Drive. If you are in the Jersey Village or Fairbanks area, we have a location, Fairbanks, which is off 290 and Beltway 8.
Okay.
And if you're in the Greenspoint, right off the Beltway, we have our Greenspoint Center. So feel free to come out. We'll do anything we can to support you.
Indeed. Dr. Quentin Wright, president of Lone Star College, Houston North, man, thank you for coming on and spreading this incredible information that the folks need. And I hope I made it easier for you for your first time.
Oh, you were great.
Man,
you were great.
I'll pop this cherry, y'all. Pause. So
you.
thank you so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcome him back. He is the board chairman for Achievement Through Leadership Foundation and the chapter Polemarch for his fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Navarre is back in the building. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Good morning to you.
And you brought some sunshine with
I
you.
did.
Yeah, I see she's the chapter president of Alpha Kappa Alpha. The lovely Kim Warren is here. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
Got your AKA pen and everything.
Of course, have to represent.
Gotta represent. Mask off. Mask off. So back to school. I was off air. You two have been talking about the upcoming school year and education and everything. So you back in school, or have you all started, or just the teachers are there?
We started Tuesday.
Y'all started Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow. And what are you looking forward to this year?
Oh man, we're gonna have a great year. just looking forward to, I mean, of course, any teacher looks forward to educating and nurturing the young, bright minds of the future. So great to have the students back. Great to have them in exploratory mode, I guess you could say. And just looking forward to a successful year.
And with that, kids need supplies.
Absolutely.
And you all have your Chucks and Crayons back to school supply drive that is going to be Tuesday at Phil and Derek. So tell us about the drive and how all of these different entities came together for this one. Because each time it's like it's bigger and bigger each year.
Right. So I met Kim a few years ago at one of our events for the Missouri City Sugarland alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And she's always supported our events. We support her events. She's chapter president of the Psi Mu Omega chapter of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So we decided to partner with Achievement Through Leadership Foundation and One Delta Plaza Educational Center for our Chucks and Crayons annual back to school drive. Chucks and Crayons, of course, it's exactly what it says. We want people to come out with their best Chuck Taylors. We may even do a contest this year, maybe $100 for the person with the best Chuck Taylors combination.
Oh, wow.
Well, I guess we have to do it now. I just put that out.
I know. I need to put my bling ones out now.
Hey.
So come out, wear your best Chuck Taylors, bring school supplies for the kids, come out to Phil and Derek's, They'll have happy hour specials, I think, until midnight. Just come out and enjoy, the Kappas, the AKAs, and both foundations.
Yeah, because I was like, Chucks, and they're going to let y'all in with Chucks and Phil and Derek's?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Kim, talk about how it's been working in concert with ATLF and the Kappas, and what made you want to be down?
Well, of course, we're about community service. So anytime someone comes to us with an idea to partner to service the community, I'm all for it. And like Fred said, we met a few years ago, and I support them. He supports me. And our chapter had not planned a school supply drive. And he reached out to me. And, I mean, of course, I was all for it. What do we have to do? We're going to make sure some of these supplies go back into the Pearland area. And, of course, there will be enough because we invite the community to come out from all over Houston and the surrounding areas. Right. So we expect to have enough to go around.
Yeah.
And so anytime it's about community service, giving back, I mean, I'm all for it.
I mean, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Both of you all can speak to that because you all are a part of a fraternity and a sorority. And that is kind of like the foundation of what you all do in fraternities and sororities, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So talk about that journey and how giving back and serving fulfills your heart. Because a lot of young people just think that, things are given to me. And I love to receive, but, probably not being on the other end of giving.
Right. As an educator, we witness so many different students on a daily basis that may be struggling, whether it's with supplies or, just whatever. So even though this event is once a year, we come together, we do what we can to make sure that students have, if not everything they need for the school year, at least most of what they need. At the end of the night, if we've not raised enough supplies, then we just start writing checks. And, we've been successful throughout the years, and, this year will be no different. We'll do everything we can to make sure the students have what they need.
Indeed. Right. Kim?
Well, community service is really the heartbeat of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Without community service, there would be no Alpha Kappa Alpha. That's what we do. I mean, all the conferences we have, every time we get together, there's always a community service project involved. So that is the main thing that we do. I mean, we handle our business and we charter new chapters and we do all of that. We have conferences and all of that. But the heart of what we do is community service. So we're always looking for ways that we can give back. And that's why we partner with our organizations and we partner with those community-based organizations to make sure that our voice is heard and we are making an impact all over the world.
Indeed. Y'all definitely made an impact in Houston last year.
Oh, yes, we did. Oh, yes, we did.
Pink and green everywhere. You're listening to Access Houston, talking to Fred Navarre from ATLF, and Kim Warren. The Chucks and Crayons Back to School Supply Drive is Tuesday at Phil and Derek's from 6 until 9. A lot of people may not even know, like especially those who don't have kids themselves,
Right.
The basic necessities of a student when going back to school.
Right.
Can you give us a list of things that a
Oh,
student
man.
needs?
It definitely depends on the specific course that student's in. But I mean, there are some courses such as engineering courses that may require, a certain fee just to be in that course. Or
scientific calculators.
right. And thankfully Title I school districts definitely provide those items for the students if they need scientific calculators and whatnot. But there's some items that students may need, like, small items like a protractor or, they may need a graphing calculator or they need a special type of notebook or something like that. Going to school is not free. These items do cost money. So, we do this to ensure that students have all of those supplies, make sure that they have the proper materials they need to be successful.
Yeah, a lot of people think, pens and paper and pencil will suffice. And I was shocked to learn that they don't even teach handwriting in school no more.
No, not cursive. No.
Not cursive.
No.
Why?
Not at all. It's a good question.
But depending upon your grade level, of course, the basic necessities are always still really the same as when we were coming up, except for those cursive books. Writing books. There's still the need for, I know in the lower grade levels, the construction paper and, they want the erasable markers, scissors,
colored pencils.
but they
all
want
that
the
stuff.
scissors with the blunt edge.
Right.
They get real specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everything's a weapon now.
Right.
Oh my God.
Highlighters
Right.
and
Right.
Not everything's a weapon. No, I don't want to hear that.
Oh, man.
That's
Man.
wild.
They want to make sure that the students are safe. So,
Right.
So yeah, no sharp edges.
Right.
What a different time. I gotta be honest. My mind, I can't even fathom what it is like to be a student in today's society,
Right.
or to be a teacher in today's society, because with social media and just the daily problems of family life and kids coming to school with behavioral issues, because something ain't right at home. Like I can't even imagine. I hope you all have your insurance covers all your therapy, because I can imagine, because a lot of friends that I have that are teachers, that used to just be kind of social drinkers, they now drink. And I'm like, whoa, is it's really like that? I mean, y'all don't have to speak to that, but I can only, my mind can't even fathom what it's like to be a student or a teacher in today's society.
It is amazing. I have to be honest about it. It is really amazing. I always say, the students I love, some of the teachers I could take or leave, but I love the students. In 11 years, I've written up one student. In 11 years, I've never had to. So I think it just depends on the rapport that you build with the students. And when students know that you care, they fall
can
in
sense
line.
that, yeah.
Right. But if they know that you're there just for a paycheck or because you couldn't cut the mustard in corporate America, I mean, they know that. They sense it. And, it just makes them act out. So fortunately, I've never encountered that.
Now, Kim, are you in education or?
I am not. My only experience with children on that level is, of course, through the sorority. We've had signature programs through the years that involve students.
Yeah.
So we have a signature program now, #CAP, and that involves students in 11th and 12th grade, preparing them for college. So that's kind of my age. I can deal with them, but I don't teach or anything on a regular basis. So my hat goes off to Fred and all of the other educators out there.
Yes, indeed. And put on your Chucks and bring some crayons for the Chucks and Crayons Back to School Supply Drive. That is this Tuesday, August 27th from 6 until 9 p.m. at Phil and Derek's. Shout out anybody? You got any majors?
Absolutely. Come out, wear your Chuck Taylors, bring, whatever school supplies you can get your hands on. Like KG said, Phil and Derek's Tuesday 6 to 9. Special thanks to the board of directors at Achievement Through Leadership Foundation, and also the board of directors, the ladies over at One Delta Plaza Educational Center. Special thanks to Audrey Gassama, who's the board chair over there, for always supporting, always jumping on board, always willing to do whatever it takes to move the needle in the community. Also, thanks to Kim and the Pearland AKAs for all that they do and, they've done in the past to support whatever we put on,
No doubt. So save the date. We'll see you Tuesday at Phil and Derek's for the Chucks and Crayons Back to School Supply Drive 6 till 9. So thank y'all for coming on. Kim, you're so lovely. Just a bright smile. You just bring a different energy to you. So thank you all for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston.
We'll be back with more Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.